Hi, I'm Kaden, and this is my biology role model project on David Baltimore. Earlier in his life, Dr. David Baltimore took on an interest in biology after one of his high school summers. During that summer, he spent most of his time at the Jackson Memorial Laboratory in Bar Harbor, Maine, where he was able to experience research biology and observe other biologists. This interest followed him throughout his undergraduate years at Swarthmore College, where he initially decided to become a biology major before switching to chemistry in order to go about his thesis work. Another summer of his was spent working, but this time it was at the Cold Spring Harbor to study animal viruses, which piqued his interest in that field. After his undergraduate years were finalized, he proceeded to begin graduate school at MIT. As he decided to start working with animal viruses, he found himself leaving MIT to study at Rockefeller University, New York, where he eventually received his PhD in animal virology. There was not much on the internet regarding his hobbies, but I assume that since he has a child and a wife, one of his possible hobbies is simply enjoying family time. Why do I find Dr. David Baltimore to be admirable? Well, he has had quite a journey and is still going. In his interview with MIT, he explains that earlier in his career, he had no particular interest in a specific field of science, but as he matured and gained experiences, he eventually found his niche. His current scientific studies are often virus research, in which he received the Nobel Prize for his research in medicine, where I will get more in depth with later on in this video. I relate to this because I am certain that I will continue my studies within the field of science, but I am unsure of the specific field that I'm interested in. Dr. David Baltimore's passionate curiosity within research is something that I truly admire. Well, his passion with science led to his studies mainly focusing on research within immunology and virology, where he's looking for an answer to how a vaccine can be safely made to prevent and treat HIV. He studies this in his most recent paper, titled Safety and Tolerability of AAV8 Delivery of a Broadly Neutralizing Antibody in Adults Living with HIV. Him and his colleagues conducted an experiment accordingly, where a method of delivery for those neutralizing antibodies was tested. VRC07, the neutralizing HIV-1 antibody being tested in this experiment, was made into a solution alongside AAV8, which is an adeno-associated virus vector. Different dosages of that solution were made into 3 different concentrations and were administered to 8 eligible participants through intramuscular injection. The results showed that there were no severe reactions during and after the administration of the solution. In some of the participants, the production of the antibodies continued for up to 3 years. Due to the results of this study, it demonstrates the possibilities of producing HIV-1 broadly neutralizing antibodies in humans, but there is still a need for more research on how the immune system affects and responds to the production of that antibody. What's next for Dr. David Baltimore? Well, Dr. David Baltimore was awarded the 1975 Nobel Prize for Physiology or Medicine due to his discovery of the enzyme that transcribes RNA to DNA, called reverse transcriptase, which is important to furthering our understanding of retroviruses and HIV. This seems to be where his interest lies, as he recently has been studying ways to improve HIV therapy and provide a sustainable way to create an HIV vaccine. I'm sure we will hear much more about Dr. David Baltimore in the future as his research surrounding HIV furthers. And this is my references, image references.